This is another inverse battle. That'll be Bakugo versus Todoroki. So I have three scenarios for this one. Alright? That would be the beginning of the series, roughly like season one to season two. And then scenario two will be them like during like season three, four. You could even lump five in there. And then the third scenario is like their current selves in the anime. Well, the manga's over, but I don't. Green Angel don't like My Hero as much, but I still watch it though. I'm watching it still. Because I'm an anime head, y'all. Y'all know I have all kind of anime I talk about. But in the first scenario, that's at the beginning of the series, towards the beginning of the series, you have the stronger one is Bakugo. Remember that Todoroki was not really, he didn't really have a hand on his fire. Not because he didn't he suppressed himself a lot. So Bakugo, was standing on business better, you know, during that, tournament that they had. You remember which one I'm talking about. That was cool. I remember watching that shit. That got me like kind of hooked into like watching My Hero a little more when they had those fights with each other, class 1A. And the other classes too. But speed is also a B for Bakugo. He thought other things. Bakugo, his speed um, is just better than Todoroki's as well at that point. Um, and durability also goes to Bakugo. You know, he's a tough boy. He likes to run shit on people. He don't mind taking a couple hits if you know how his attitude is. Bakugo. Endurance goes to Todoroki though. Todoroki had a longer fight with Deku than he expected, and that's true. People know that. And then when he had to fight against Bakugo, you know he could have fought longer. He was just getting a hold of his power, right? And in the beginning of the series, that's the thing that Todoroki has against him. He's getting a hold of his other side, the fire. Because he had suppressed that shit for a long time. Intelligence goes to Todoroki as well. He was being groomed to, be the successor for his father, but not just that, but the number one hero. That's why his father pushed him so hard. Experience also goes to Todoroki because of that. His father is Endeavor, the second best hero at that point in the series. Um, Close skills go to Bakugo, and range skills also go to Bakugo. He don't mind being up close and personal, but he can also back up a little bit and shoot off some attacks from a distance. Um, Recoup goes to Todoroki. He can cool himself down if he does pop out that fire. Um, Hacks go to what the hell? Hacks go to Todoroki. And environment goes to Bakugo. God damn, all that Santa Monica Beach in it might not be what I think. But Bakugo wins 6-5 in the first scenario. So the second scenario, right? That's like season 3, 4, and you can even lump 5 in there. So at that point, Todoroki is using more of his powers, trying to, have a better relationship with his father and everything else. Bakugo is getting stronger too, but I still got the strength going to Todoroki. Todoroki is, like I said, he's honing his fire skills, and his ice was already there. So then now he has both elements, which is cool because most people have only one, but it's almost as if he has two quirks. That's pretty OP. As a child. Um, Speed is Bakugo though. Bakugo still has speed on him. um, and durability as well. Because he's still training and making sure, because he's trying to outdo Deku, who is All Might's successor and everything else. Endurance goes to Todoroki. Intelligence also goes to Todoroki. Still smarter than Bakugo. Um, and also experience goes to Todoroki as well. Fucking weather. Don't mess my day up trying to. Um, but close skills go to Bakugo. Range skills go to Todoroki. Recoup goes to Todoroki. Like I said, he has better handle on the fire, and if he does overheat, he can cool himself down. He ain't like Dobby. Yeah, well, you can't cool down. Hacks go to Todoroki. Like I said, he basically has two quirks. Now Bakugo is better. He's good at using his quirk too. Um, but it's just Todoroki got that. You know, Hacks go to Todoroki. Um, but the environment goes to Bakugo, just like in the other scenario too. Scenario one. Chris, who, unlike Todoroki, has a drive to become the best hero. And to outdo Deku, who has the one for all. Even though Deku has that, he says, you've always been. What's up?
How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Doing all right?
Yeah.
Do you mind if I just lick that really fast?
This?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's an umbrella. Yeah.
Yeah. These are cool. Where'd you get these?
That's Little Tokyo.
Tokyo.
Yeah, that's where I got it.
Yeah, it's just an umbrella.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to open it up right now because it's
Yeah,
about
no,
to.
it's about to start.
Yeah.
I didn't want to break it. It's the bottom part. That's cool. Awesome.
Bye, man.
No worries. Just be careful with this too, okay?
Uh-huh.
All right. How's it going?
And damn, because it rain's coming now. I had to open up my umbrella. But in the last scenario, right? The last scenario is, is their current selves in season 7. Now Green Angel's a little bit behind, so don't be upset. But I do, I can get a beat on who is better. Because like I've watched season 6 up to season 6, 2 episodes of season 7. So based off of that, strength goes to Bakugo again. As remember, I told you, he's trying to be like Deku, or not like Deku, but outdo him. Be a better hero than he is. And Deku has the one for all quirk. So Bakugo's gonna work even harder. Train even harder, become stronger. Be able to hold down in situations better. Todoroki already has that when he has his both of his quirks, but Todoroki's more, he doesn't have that Bakugo has. He ain't trying to. He's trying to be a hero, but he's not. It's not like his work ethic's not like Bakugo. Um, Speed goes to Bakugo again, and then durability also goes to Bakugo. Endurance goes to Todoroki still. Intelligence still goes to Todoroki. And experience also goes to Todoroki as well. Close skills are Bakugo. And then the range skills are also Todoroki. Again, recoups Todoroki. And then the hacks are Todoroki. With the environment going to Bakugo. But, unlike the first fight, it's still Todoroki's win. Todoroki still has this about him too. Remember this. Um, Todoroki, he has his brother Dabi, and his brother Dabi is a villain, right? So he wants to be able to defeat his brother as well. And his brother ain't, he ain't no slouch. You know about Dabi, with the blue fire. If you know anything about fire, you know that blue flames are harder than, regular ones. And, it's like made for them to, heat costs fighting each other. And then Bakugo, he still has a way to go. This is season 7. We ain't done with My Hero yet. In the anime, I imagine they're making season 8, and then season 8's gonna be the last season. It's gonna be a good one. So I'm gonna finish watching season 7, waiting on season 8 like you My Hero fans are. And basically, out of Bakugo and Todoroki, just know that Green Angel, he's caused to Todoroki being more powerful than Bakugo as of right now in the series. Stay cool, call on the corner.